To be in the writing of that proposal, but the Board of Directors would certainly issue a statement if that would be assuring to you, give you assurance.
Thank you.
When do you anticipate all of this to be completed?
Well, the first phase, all going well, with the approval process, taking that into consideration, we're looking to start construction a year from now. Best possible scenario would be late fall of this year.
And then it'll be ongoing for how long?
It'll be ongoing as demand presents itself. We will continue building cottages.
Has everything been worked out with the water lines that we've been dealing with? Okay?
That auxiliary line is now complete. It still has to be hooked into the nursing home, but it has water in it. The pumps are flowing, pumps are working, and that's set to go in the event of any emergency.
How do we establish the assessed value?
Well, that'll be assessed once we have the final cottage design, determine construction costs, and then through the normal assessment process that the county uses, these will be assessed, just like our current cottages are.
Any questions? Any concerns?
Thank you.
Thank you, Emery.
Reverend, you do want something in writing from the district, I understood?
Yes, please,
Okay.
Dr. Oldham, if you could, any concerns, and we'll address those, or simply a letter to my name is fine, just stating that you've considered the plans and everything was satisfactory to you at this time.
Thank you.
I'm accepting the veteran's word, but I claim to see in our letter that these will be activated.
Dave Kalina, Lodestar Bus Lines.
Well, as you know, I'm Dave Kalina, Lodestar Bus Lines, and quite simply, we were exploring after the last school board meeting where we might be able to come up with any type of cost-saving initiatives for the school district. And pardon me, I'm actually a little bit ill tonight. I'm sick today, so I'm not feeling so well, but pardon me. So what we had done was we've taken a pretty careful look at our operations, and we put forth a proposal to Dr. Oldham and Mr. Marnell that was, I understand, was to be in your packets. So you should be able to review that. This is a public meeting. The gist of the proposal is quite simply that we can adjust some of our equipment purchases, namely large full-size school bus purchases, over the course of the next several years. And in doing that, then, the most significant proposal that we can offer the school district for concrete cost savings, especially for next year, is that we've offered to freeze our rates. So basically we would take no increase to any of our rates for next year. So the cost for next year to the school district essentially would stay the same. And our increases each year are determined by a very specific regionally adjusted consumer price index. And that is usually available somewhere around January or February. And so Mr. Marnell and I pulled that information up in February, and for the next school year, our Lodestar's increase would have been a 2% increase. So all of our rates, and there are several, as you're aware, would have gone up by 2%. So again, there's a little more to our proposal that you can see there, but the gist, the concrete cost savings would come in the result of basically a freeze of our rates. So there would be no increase. And of course, I'm available for any more specific questions once you have a chance to thoroughly review what we've submitted. Are there any questions at the moment?
The 2% freeze would save the district approximately how much money?
The 2% freeze, well, I have to be honest, it is an estimated number, but we can concretely get into the low 40s, almost 45,000. And when I say concretely, what I mean is we can take, for example, things that we know are not going to be variable next year. We know we're going to have so many daily rate charges, for example. We know we're going to have so much for VOTEC, those types of costs. And the reason we upped it, say, from the mid-40s or 45 to 50 is that we did not take into consideration any athletic events or any of those types of trips, because those are a little bit variable. They're not as concrete to throw a number at, but I'm very confident that the $50,000 is what you would realize. It'd be very close to that. And of course that would carry over for every year thereafter, because the freeze is not something we're ever going to catch up on. That would be a permanent freeze, and then the next year, of course, if there's an increase, that 50,000 would carry on throughout whatever years left we have on our contract.
Okay, I have a question, and I perhaps ought to know this, but do we have a standard amount of buses every year, or can that go down based on our need?
The question was, do we have a standard number of buses? And no, there's not a contracted number of buses that you are obligated to run. Mr. Marnell and I, and frequently, if there is a chairperson, for example, of transportation, we will look at that each year, and the bus runs do fluctuate. Past school boards have eliminated a couple of bus runs. Past school boards have added a bus run or two here and there based on the need. One example was Oakwood Hills. We added service to that area several years ago. Another example was, and I forget the year, Jim, pardon me, but it was at least 4 or 5 years ago, they had reduced the runs by 3 district-wide. And again, that's because of either declining population or geography or grade level shifts. So the short answer to your question is that's basically something that can be variable and is decided based on need year to year. Yes.
Thank you.
We budgeted 29 buses next year, is that right, too?
And then there's 2, yeah.
You can go ahead, but I have
Okay.
the budget discussion too.
Yeah, there are 2 that are slated to be, we're slated to reduce bus runs by at least 2 next year.
I'm assuming, and perhaps we'll talk a little bit, that's the budget information, we'll get into that, but that's an additional savings for the district.
That's correct. What you see before you, and I took a very quick look at Dr. Odom's PowerPoint presentation, but I do not see that number in here anywhere. Is that correct, Dr. Odom, that what's in front of you would be in addition to any savings that you see in her proposal? Because
Mine will just reflect activity buses, the 2 reductions, and CTC.
Right. So, and the cuts that Dr. Odom has proposed in her presentation, which we'll get to later, those fall into that variable category. Those are things that this school district has, total discretion over. Anything else? Well, thanks for the opportunity.
Thank
Thanks, Dave.